What's going on, everybody? Today I'm about to be reviewing Slumber Party Massacre 3. So, this movie opens up on a beach, and we're introduced to the main characters. The main characters are, I believe it's five younger girls. I think they're college age, and so they're playing volleyball on the beach with some of their guy friends. And as we're introduced to them, there's like the first we are introduced to the first red herring, who's this guy with like long hair and like a ponytail, like long blonde hair, and he's just like staring like this with like the widest eyes on the beach, just like probably like 100 feet behind them, and he's like wearing all black, doesn't even say a word, and pretty darn creepy individual. But we're introduced to him. He's like the first red herring, and with me saying that, there's like two main red herrings, but this movie is different than the previous two Slumber Party Massacre movies because instead of like in the first movie, the killer's Russ Thorne. In the second movie, that the killer's like the rockabilly driller killer. But this one's different than the first two because it's a whodunit. So the first red herring is that creeps around the beach who's just staring like this, and then later we're introduced to the main girl's neighbor who just walks in her house. I mean, she kind of. That's weird. Like, why you walking in people's houses, my guy? But at the same time, like, homegirl, like, who? What are you doing? Why are you just leaving your? For one, don't leave your front door unlocked. Like, what the heck? Come on. And then did you leave your front door cracked? Like, what are you doing? What do you think this is, like the 1920s and motherfuckers just leave their door open? Hey, what, this isn't Canada, man. We don't do that shit. Fucking lock your door. Motherfuckers don't play around. Like, what do you think this is? But anyways, um, yeah, this second red herring is this, like, I would just say he's like a middle-aged gentleman, and he's the main girl's neighbor, and he's just walking in the house. He's like, "Can I check out your house? Can I go upstairs?" And he's got to be as weird as and creepy as possible. And that just made me think, like the word that I just said, that he's weird to describe him, just totally made me remember. So I think it's the first red herring guy in the credits. He's just credited as weirdo, and then that was like for some reason that was like the first uh, actor credited, and it just said weirdo played by such and such, and I was like, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot of movies do that where, like, it's not like a character where they have like a ton of scenes or dialogue, so they just you know call them such and such. But yeah, basically I thought that was pretty funny. But the main the main plot of this movie is just you have these group of girls. I think it's five girls, and the main girl, her parents are out of town, so she's having a little slumber party with the girls at her house. They've been planning it all week, and of course, it's a slumber party massacre movie, so the guys crash the party, and once again, and I love how in every single one of these movies, like I like how in this one they did the same thing where it ties it into the franchise, where they always have the slumber party where the girls are getting a little crazy and they start, you know, stripping, which I don't know, I don't know if anyone in real life does that. Like, they just, every single one of these movies, these girls, they're just randomly stripping at a slumber party. Like, I don't think anyone's done that. Maybe, I don't know, but I maybe, but anyways, yeah. So these girls are just like randomly stripping for like no reason. But I'm not hating. Like, it's nice to watch. It's all good. It's cool. But they're stripping, and then the guys walk in. Except this time, because usually they're like like the guys are like their friends are usually like creeping through a window when they're stripping in like all the other movies. But in this one, they actually come in the house, which it's like this quick cut, and then they're just like immediately in the house. So it's like once again, they just left their door open, and then the guys are just suddenly in the house, and they're like all wearing these like crazy monster masks. The monster masks were really cool, but they scare the girls, and the girls are like, "Geez, guys, get out of here. That's uncool." Like, I thought they kind of took it the joke, like it's like, geez, take a joke, like they're just playing around. But yeah, I don't know why these girls they don't lock their doors. But the one guy in the middle, look, I don't know if this was the case because they probably get sued. But maybe, I mean, maybe they just got away with it. But it looked like he was wearing a Freddy Krueger mask. I don't know, but it looked pretty darn similar to a Freddy Krueger mask. But anyways, the girls, they're partying, they're having their slumber party, they're sipping some beers that just say beer on them, and they're just eating like all the junk food imaginable, which like in the second one they do that, and then which is like tight, like they're like eating like brownies and whatever, and it's like cool, having a good time, eating some good food, sipping some drinks. It's a good time, and basically, um, well, the first kill was earlier. There's this girl. She gets killed in her car. The drill goes through her chest, pretty much like the first kill in the second movie, and it was pretty good. It wasn't like a cutaway or anything. You got to see everything, and it was pretty darn good kill. But the second kill is one of the guys is going to the door, and this is after they already pranked the girls with the masks. So they're like, "Guys, get out of here! Quit playing around!" Because he's like screaming because the killer's coming behind him, and he's like screaming, and then they're like, "Quit playing around!" And the killer, there, there's like this giant for sale sign, and he gets the giant for sale sign and like impales him through the chest, and then like as the killer's dragging him away, the for sale sign's like popping out of his chest. I thought that was pretty darn creative, but yeah, basically then the guy, the weird, like a little bit later, the weirdo guy um, comes to the girl's back door, and he has um, the main girl's address book, and then he just like leaves it and like runs away, and they're like weirded out by the fact that um, he came to the back door, and they're like, why does he have my address book? Like, was he just trying to return it, or is it something weird? Is he stalking me? So they call the cops, and the cops like think they're just like messing around because they're like, oh, these girls are drunk, blah blah blah. And then, I mean, I was thinking while they were calling, I'm like, if you're like, I don't know, well, I think they're supposed to be college age, but they're still probably like underage. Like, why are you, if you're drinking and partying like underage, why are you calling the cops? Like, that's silly. But anyways, later on, this one girl goes upstairs to get with this guy Ken, and then she goes in the bathroom, and this is like a crazy kill. Like, I thought it was like really funny. because she had like a vibrator in the bathroom, so she takes a bath after she's getting with this Ken guy, and then the killer just drops the vibrator in the bathtub and electrocutes her. I thought that was hilarious. So I mean, honestly, like there's some pretty darn creative kills in this, but anyways, yeah, this is I'm gonna start getting into like spoiler stuff, spoiler territory of like who the killer is. So if you don't want to hear that, tune out at this point. But they after that girl gets killed in the bathtub, they all the other girls find her body in a closet, and basically they're like, okay, like we need to do something about this. So this Ken guy and this other guy, they like go looking for the killer, and everyone stays at the house. So Ken and this other guy go into some. I think it's like I forgot what the building is, but it's some building where they have power tools. And at this point, this when you figure out Ken is the killer, and he's fighting the other guy. The other guy slams him with a hammer, but Ken eventually, because this guy had previously said that he had like problems with his like Achilles tendon, so he gets like a chainsaw and saws his Achilles tendons, which you don't see on screen. It's a cutaway, but that's just like a gnarly mental image. That's some serious stuff. So at this point, um, we know who the killer is. It's Ken, and basically his his motive is um, he had an uncle who committed suicide. Who was There was some issues. He had some issues with the uncle. It seems like his uncle was like a messed up individual. So Ken is just like messed up from that interaction, and he's all mentally scarred, and he's just insane. So he calls girls and he tells them stay at the house, because at this point they don't know he's the killer, so they stay at the house. And he comes back, and he's starts picking them off. And one thing that I did like, there was this one sequence where a girl's hiding in the closet, and he's like breaking the closet with like little karate chops, like Michael Myers in the first Halloween. So I appreciated that. And then at this point, like maybe a little bit after that, around this time, they pour bleach in his eyes. So he's like, it's this whole thing where he's trying to find them in the house, and he picks off a couple more girls, and eventually there's three girls left, and one of the girls, he gets one of the girls, but then the other girl is able to get his drill, and just you know totally just like goes crazy, which I like, because like a lot of times in slasher movies you have it where they'll just they like when they're trying to kill the killer, they'll just stab him once, and it's always like it's like in Scream where they're like you gotta do it again, or like Zombieland, they're like you gotta double tap, like you always gotta, in these movies you always have to make sure the killer's dead. So when this final girl gets the drill and is about to kill the killer, like she really lets him have it. She's like drilling him over and over and over and over. So I really like that. Like that was a pretty smart decision. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much the end of the movie at that point. And honestly, this one I like went in with low expectations, because like my history with this franchise is I'm not the biggest fan. The first one I do not like that much. I think it's kind of boring in my opinion. Maybe if I rewatch it, I'll like it more. But mainly just like I really do not like the first one that much. I'm mainly a fan of the second one because it's just so crazy. I love like the rockabilly killer. He's like so like charismatic, and it's just like a crazy weird movie. So I'm a big fan of the second one, and this one I hadn't really heard anything about it, so I had like really low expectations, and actually it turned out to be pretty decent. It wasn't the best thing ever. Like I don't know if I would like watch this one again, but it definitely wasn't bad. It was enjoyable. It was like a fun little slasher movie, and it was cool to finish the series. So I would say if you're a completist and you're already a fan of the Slumber Party Massacre movies, even if you're just a fan of the second one, I would say this is definitely worth checking out. So basically, that's all I have to talk about Slumber Party Massacre 3. Thank you for watching. Peace out.